Okay everyone, so we are in the shop for a simple little project today. We're just going to be making this ammo can into a portable wood burning fire pit. I saw this, they have these propane versions. They have a propane burner and all that kind of stuff in it, which is cool. I've been using my little wood firebox stove, like when I go out camping. I like having that thing with me, because it just gives you a nice little contained area to throw together a little fire. Like if you just want to heat up something and make some food or make some coffee or whatever. So I like how you can contain the fire and you can contain the heat, and just having a little box like this. Also, I have, I want to try using something like this in this semi-permanent shelter I've been building out by the river. But and just I don't know what exactly I'll use it for. I just know it's gonna be easy to build, and it's gonna be a fun little project to do. And I basically have everything I need, except I did buy a little expanded sheet from Lowe's. So that's all this is gonna be. Is basically I'm gonna cut out a side here and cut out a hole on the other side, and I'm going to weld some of this expanded sheet over it. Now this is I can't remember the term for it, but this is, if you see here, this is flat expanded sheet. So this isn't the kind of stuff you would use for tread. This is more for like a barbecue grill because it's flat. Okay, and there's that stuff that's twisted when it comes out. I have some, well, for instance, right here. I don't know if you can see, but this is not here. No, that's not even something that I have a big piece of this stuff. There's the other type of expanded sheet. Okay, well, here's an example. Here's a piece cut out. Now if you look at this, you'll see how it is, you know what I mean? It's not flat. That's not flat. So that's something you would want to use, like if you needed grip or some sort of tread or whatever. But this expanded sheet is the flat stuff. So, and the reason I'm using this is because, just to give a nice smooth side on the inside. Also, if I happen to pack this anything, it doesn't have rough edges to catch stuff on. It doesn't take any more room up in the box, so we get the most room we can out of the box. And that's kind of how we how it's going to go. So basically, I'm going to measure out my hole here, mark it up, just get a little square out and do that with. Going to mark it up, cut it out using a good old cutoff wheel on the grinder. Okay. Then we'll kind of hit those edges with a flap disc. One of these guys right here. Okay. And then we will cut out our sheet. And then we're going to put it on the inside of the box, and we're going to tack it together with our MIG welder over there. The little MIG Lincoln 140. My old trusty MIG welder. It's never let me down. So I'm going to fire up the heater because it's cold out here. So if you guys hear some noise in the background on the rest of this, hey, I got to stay warm. So, as you can see, there's plenty of snow. It's about, I think, 15 degrees out here today. So that little heater does the job, honestly, out here. I've got kind of a three-sided deal here. And, if I angle it back, come in here, basically, if I kind of point the heater back into there, then it kind of keeps the heat, and it actually makes it relatively comfortable in here. It's really not that bad to work out here when you have this heater going. And I load it with kerosene. Diesel, when it gets cold, I've had to bring this heater inside and let it warm up so the diesel will fire. Kerosene, I've never had a problem. I plug it in, it fires up every time, no matter how cold it's been, in my experience, at least so far. So anyways, I'm going to get that thing heated up, get these holes cut in this box, cut out our sheet, and tack it. This isn't going to be a complicated project. Like I said, I'm not even going to put feet on it for now. If I don't want a fire scar on the ground, I'll just get a couple sticks and put it on top of a couple sticks. You know, I don't think I need to put feet. But down the line, maybe this will evolve into something else. I really just want to use it and see what I even use it for and go from there. So anyways, I'm going to get working here. I'm going to put this camera so you guys can see. Like I said, I'll try and talk with the noise, but it's just going to be noisy because I'm getting cold already. So here we go. There that goes. Don't forget the coffee, guys. So these Silver Streak pencils, these things are the best. They run on anything and they don't come off if you want it to, honestly. See that? So I'm going to mark this out here using a square. Okay. Okay, so I'm just kind of eyeballing it, just feeling it out. Got it down from the lid a little bit. Going to, I'm going to cut it about this high up. I'm not going to have it all the way down to the bottom. So, and I'll cut this out, and then I'll just use this as a template on the other side. So then we can cut everything the same. There we go, that's the first side cut out. Here's, like I said, we'll use this just as a template on the other side. Okay, because then we'll also use this as a template to cut out our expanded sheet. When you're cutting a long line with a cutoff wheel, I like to go through and just score first. Because it makes a lot easier to follow a line when you're actually cutting through. You have to worry about getting crooked. Just kind of score it first, then go back through with the cut. There we go. We got two kind of square holes. So, oh boy. All right. So now all we got to do is we're going to cut the. Go. Oh. So the expanded sheet is going to go right down inside here, just like that. So I now need to take this, using this as a template, and we're going to go about an inch bigger all around. Okay, to overlap so we have something to weld to the side of the box. All right, so that's kind of what we're going to do here. Here we are, just marking this out, line it up. That's about how far we're going to have it out. So when you're using this stuff, you kind of just, you know, it doesn't have to be exact in this thing. So just find yourself like one of these to run down. So we'll go right down that one there. You know, use the joints kind of as your guide. So I just kind of put a mark there so I know where I'm going. So I do one there, and then this stuff we'll just go on this one down here. Okay. And it's that easy. Okay? Now we just cut that out with our cutoff wheel, and that's that. There we go. We just gotta cut one more of these now. Okay, so we got to cut one more, same deal. We're just going to use that as our template because, see, this does not have to be exact. So we'll just make these marks, and we're going to just use those as a guide and kind of ride the lightning, you know what I'm saying? Just kind of, the cutoff wheel as you're cutting this stuff kind of falls in where it needs to go. you just kind of got to ride it out and make sure you stay in the same groove. Also, cutoff wheels and using these grinders is no joke. So if you don't have experience, you know, feel one out before you're like, oh, I want to go make a damn firebox stove. I'm gonna go buy a cutoff wheel and you know, just get to it. You know, you got to respect the cutoff wheel. This thing will so easily jump out of your hands and mess you up. So just be wary. All right. So I'm gonna cut this other piece now, and we'll be back here in a second. All right. So now here's kind of what we're gonna look like. So if you guys are not following so far, here's what the end product is going to look like. So before we weld this in, what we're going to do on the back side there, we're just going to tack it in. Just boom, 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 boom. You know, easy. But what we have to do before that is we need to get back there with our flap disc and grind off this paint so we can weld the bare metal. All right, because we ain't stick welding with 6011. You know, we're not going to be welding through any paint, plus, you know, we're not going to be welding through any paint anyways. But, yeah, we're welding big. We need to be nice and clean. It's this thin stuff, so we're not going to be able to run too hot. We need to clean this up as best we can. Also, this edge that we have from the cutoff wheel is kind of rough, so we're just going to hit that with the flap disc. This is just a 60 grit. I use, you know, those abrasive grinding wheels, I use less than a flap disc. I use a flap disc and a cutoff wheel probably more than anything else on a 4.5 inch grinder. So get plenty of those and get yourself a pack of cutoff wheels and you'll have everything you need. These are 60 grit, I believe. Yep. Oh no, these are 40. These are 40 grit. So you get yourself some 40 or 60 grit, and honestly get yourself some 40. You'll be fine. They'll give you a nice smooth finish. You know, if you're not trying to polish it or look at yourself in it, then 40 grit's going to be fine. So that's what we're going to do now. Is we're going to swap out this. We're going to swap out the what's it called? The cutoff wheel off the grinder. You don't need to use your tools for these, because you don't need to crank these down. Okay? Put it on there. Grab your nut, screw it on, and just grab it with your hand and tighten it down. You don't need to tighten it with your tool. You really don't. Also, that avoids. See, a lot of people get. I ran into a guy in Harbor Freight that he couldn't get his off. He said he had in a vise holding down, trying to, you know. So I've seen him get pretty stuck. Just crank it down with your hand, and that's fine. And just flip this guy on. Slow it down. 40 grit does pretty quick work of it. All right. And like I said, 40 grit's all you need most of the time. Get you a view here of what's going on. See where we're hitting off that paint? Watch how even the stuff comes off. See if I can get a view here. Don't have to hardly put any pressure on it. You know, that's that. So I'm gonna go around here. I'm gonna finish cleaning these edges up. I'm hitting them from the inside and the outside, just so it's on a sharp edge you're gonna cut your finger on. We're gonna get this cleaned up all the way around, and then we're gonna tack this stuff on, and that's gonna basically be it. So I'll be back with you here in a second. All right, so we got her cleaned up. All right, now don't worry, because listen, when we do the first burn of this thing, all this paint is gonna burn off here. And I think ultimately we'll hit it with some high temp. We'll rattle can it with some high temp, some of that stove paint, that black grill or stove paint, so it'll not look totally raggedy. But yeah, so like I said, we smoothed out these edges here, and as best as we can, we got inside and prepped along where that grate is going to go to get us down to bare metal. For now, I'm going to tack this little guy in there. All right, so we'll just get it lined up best we can. And you know, we're kind of limited. It's kind of a hard place to reach in there, so we're just gonna have to do what we can, and you know, as far as getting, but we got plenty of good area to get to. So now it's the favorite part of the evening. Fire up the Lincoln here. Okay, flip her on, turn on our gas. 75-25 we're running. Okay, now I'm not scared of looking at the chart. So we're probably let's see here. So we're probably running. Well, here's our chart. So look, running MIG. Okay. We're using 30 thousandths wire. Okay, so down on this column, and we are using, and this is probably, let's see, 11 gauge is about an 1/8 inch, or 12 gauge is about 1/8 inch. So this stuff is probably, I mean, it's not very thin. I would say about as thin as we can go on this. So we're going to be running 2A on this. Well, we'll call it 18 gauge. So 3.5 on the wire speed. Okay, so dial this down to 3.5. Okay, and then the voltage is set at B. Now you notice I have some markers on there. That's for the stuff that I most commonly weld. I just have it set to where the setting is perfect. So that's a good starting point. And so, and these are just going to be tacks. So we do want them we do want to run them on the hotter side. So you know, rather than going down to the A on the voltage, we're gonna go with the size up, which is probably set for a little thicker, but like I said, it's gonna be basically tacks. So we'll want to run them hot because it's gonna be short and hot, baby. You know what I'm saying? So 3.5 on the wire speed, B on the voltage. Very basic, you know, on welders at the shop. I can set my volt. I can set anything I want on that thing. But this nice little welder here, simple, but it's never let me down. So let's get welding. Like I said, we're going to be basically, we're going to tack here, then we'll tack over here, then we'll tack here, we'll tack here. You know, if we go through and just tack here, it might make things wonky. So we're going to kind of spread everything out just like you kind of do on, you know, on a lug nut or any kind of something like that. We will kind of try to go in a, you know, some sort of a star pattern here. So throw on the hood here. Okay. The old Vulcan hood I'm running. This is the, whatever the, I'll show you. That hood, whatever the, I got it as a gift. It's whatever the most expensive one at Harbor Freight is, that's what hood I'm running. I've got a Lincoln Viking at work. I would never know that they're a different hood, honestly. They are, seem perfectly fine to me. Now, when you're welding stuff, you want to clamp stuff down. You know, you definitely want to clamp stuff down. You can, that'll just help keep it from moving around. Because when it gets hot, it expands. When it cools, you know what I mean, it moves. So it'll help keep it moving around. So we got this front end. Since we got this clamp down, I'm going to tack this back side first. So here we go. I might have to actually ground it. I've got the ground just on the table. I'm going to move the ground up, well, the return. I'm going to move the ground up here. Sometimes you can use your ground to help clamp your stuff too. Move the ground up here to the actual workpiece, because with the paint on the thing, it's not getting a good ground just from the table. So here we go. There we go. All right. definitely plenty hot. I think we burned through a little bit on that first one. That's no big deal. Okay. Just keep going through. All right. So you see, we're just running these little tacks. If we run plenty of those tacks, we're not going to have any issue. So I got to get the camera away from here. I'm going to finish running these tacks. I think we burned through on that first one, but hey, I'm not perfect. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we did. That's fine. I'll fill. You know what? I'll fill that right in right now. I'll fill it in one-handed. I'll hold the dang camera, and I'll show you how it's done. We'll just fill her on in. That's how you do it in hillbilly land. Okay, so you get a little hole like that, you just kind of hit it and let it cool, pushing over the weld. So you got a little bead there, keep pushing over, and then we'll just take the flap disc and grind that down and make it even. You never know anything ever happened. So we're getting good penetration, you can see here. So I'm gonna finish running these tacks and I'll get back with you in a second. Look at that. Got ourselves a little fire pit. All right, got a bunch of tacks ran in here. Plenty strong, not going anywhere. You can see when you cut this, it kind of bows out. So when you close it, it can be a little wonky, but it kind of finds its own way. And there we go. Okay, there she is, tacked up. Okay, so now we got to get a burn in her, and I'm going to take the flap disc and just hit this surface, grind down these little rough spots, and grind down our hole that we filled in here. Remember that? See that guy? And then also there's a gasket in these lids to make them waterproof. Don't think we're too concerned about if this is waterproof anymore. But yeah, this rubber gasket. So I'm going to rip that guy out. Just because we don't want that heating up and burning dang rubber. You know, sometimes we want to burn rubber, but not in this case. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to tear that out. I'm going to hit this with a flap disc, and then I say we just get a burn going in this thing. Get the first burn off all the paint, and maybe make us something to eat or something to drink. We'll see. Let me get this set up there. See that? It's like nothing ever happened. Okay, now I'm going to pull this gasket off. Just use my knife to get it started here. Thing's probably glued in, I would imagine. This might actually take some. Serious. Oh, I see. No, it's just crimped in. That gasket is kind of crimped in there. It's not glued in. Let me get you a close-up, show you how they do this. So this gasket is, I don't know if you can see here. This gasket is kind of, it's, you see that little metal flap, this little guy? It's just shoved in between there. So it just pulls right out. But, so look, that, right here, this was that hole where we burned through and we filled that in. I'm not grinding everything down too much because this stuff's already thin enough. But like I said, once we get a burn on this, we burn off all the paint, and then we hit this with some high temp. We rattle can this with some high temp grill paint or stove paint or whatever. It's gonna look a little prettier. Okay, so this is, you know, why it looks for now. But yeah, we're gonna get a burn in this after I finish pulling this gasket out. And you can just see how that kind of just pulls out of there. You just got to get it started. Okay, there we go. Look, one-handed, holding the dang camera. Just rips right out of there. You ready? Let's see how much it affects it when you close it. Out the gasket. Okay, so it does affect it actually a little bit because you don't have as much seal as you want. So we might have to figure something out there. Still works fine. But definitely affects it. So, you know what I'm saying with that gasket, since it comes down further and it doesn't have that pressure that kind of holds it on. So you may have to figure something out there. I can probably put in probably some sort of something up there, or honestly just put a piece of it on the end that's plenty away from the fire, and that'll probably do it. Actually, I'm gonna try and do that really quick. All right, so that did work out. As you can see, I just put this front part of the gasket, which that'll be plenty far away from the fire. I'm not really too worried about it. And if I have to, eventually I can put a piece of wood in there. I can put a piece of something, you know, fireproof. I can probably just put a small sliver of metal in there if I have to. But with this stuff, to get that back in, and actually to get this out, probably this stuff just very easily bends back. This little tab that holds the gasket in, that easily bends back. And then you can just smack it down with a pair of pliers. Even better, take a little hammer, bend it back over, just so it's holding that in and it doesn't go anywhere. And now our box shuts like it's supposed to. Nice and tight. You know, it just needed that gasket to hold a little tension. So with just this piece at the front, does the trick fine. Like I said, pretty sure we don't care if this is waterproof. So, anyways, I think I'm gonna get a burn in this thing going, and you know, have a little fun now. So, stand okay. By. Also, I want to add this before we go on. So, shutting down the welder. Don't forget to turn off your gas. You know, because even if there's a little tiny leak, you'll come out to weld the next day or whenever, and all your gas will be gone. And that's no fun. Also, I was running pony bottles, the little bottles on this thing. If you rent yourself a bottle, this bottle costs $60 to refill. And it's like, most companies, you actually lease the bottle. So I'm renting this bottle basically. Or I have a lease on the bottle, which is, I think it was like $165 up front. Not bad. But this lasts probably 5 times longer than a little pony bottle that I got filled up at Harbor Freight for, I think, $45 or something. Or not Harbor Freight, at Tractor Supply for $45. Costs $60 to fill this, and it lasts, no joke, at least 5 times as long as a little pony bottle. So it's totally worth it to go get you a little tank this size. Or if you find one, just, I mean, you'll spend so much money refilling those pony bottles. They don't last long at all. You might get, you know, if you're running these little rolls through a little machine like this, you might get 2.5, 3 rolls. You know, so totally worth it to get you a little bigger bottle. But when I shut down my machine, I don't just shut it down right after I'm done welding. I like to just let it run for a minute and then shut her down. So there we go. So we're about to get this burn. I cut a little piece of this that I can put over the top of the pit and use as a grill. I will show you here. Hopefully we have enough light. So this will just sit right over the top. Okay. And then we can use that as a grill. So I've got some kindling going in here. Okay. Gonna chop it up a little more with the old east wing. and then get a burn going here. So give me some nice small stuff, nice thin kindling. Started off with the some Vaseline cotton balls, which are pretty much my favorite thing to use. I love using the Vaseline cotton balls. I just think they work well. They're easy to make. You can buy a dang you can buy a what's it called? You can buy a bag of cotton balls, like 100 of them, for I think 99 cents actually. If not, then you know it might cost $2. And you can buy a thing of petroleum jelly for nothing. And you just get a Ziploc bag, you put that stuff in there, and I mean honestly, just work it around with your hands. Just get a bag full of dang cotton balls, put it in like a thicker Ziploc bag so it doesn't rip. If you got it, and just start working the Vaseline in there. All right. So this should be all the wood we need here, I think, for this to get us a nice little fire going in there. So I'll take that out there. We'll fire it up and see what we can do with this thing. Probably go ahead and take my hood off now. I've also got a nice stockpile of kindling right here. There's a good piece. So I'm gonna throw this. What I do? Oh, there's my cotton balls right there. Boom. Okay. Got a couple hides in there, by the way. There's a raccoon, squirrel, another raccoon that needs fleshing. But here we go. We'll put our cotton balls down in there. And let me just set this up just like this. Okay. And just build us a nice little bundle here. Okay. Go ahead and get her lit. I mean, they light right up. Vaseline cotton ball lights right up. If you're, bushcrafting, you're using a ferro rod, they light like a dream with a ferro rod. I really am a fan of the Vaseline cotton balls. So there we go. Let's get our wood kind of stacked in there. Let's see if that does the trick. I'm gonna grab some more kindling, guys. We want to get us where we're trying to burn off all the paint here. So we do want to get us a nice hot fire the first time we go around, because we want to get all the paint burned off that we can. So you can already smell it starting to stink up. But I got a good bundle of wood right here. So we'll just let that go. And yeah, enjoy a nice little fire. So this thing's pretty cool already, honestly. And you fit those fire boxes are nice, but it's nice to be able to fit a little bigger size wood in here. You don't have to worry about being too long and all that stuff. So there we go. Got us a nice little fire brewing. So we'll just get that hot, we'll let that burn, and we'll just keep it burning. Okay. There it is. Vaseline cotton ball, lighting it right up. Some good dry wood, split down, nice and small. Does the job. So I'm gonna get this burning here. I'll check in with you guys Well, now we just enjoy the fruits of our labor. It's definitely stinking up, burning that paint off. You guys will know that smell if you've ever burned the paint off anything, like a 55-gallon drum you'll use as a burn barrel. But you see we got our little cup of water set here, and we just got that. We set that down and make it cold again. This little piece of grate, which this can just sit inside when I want to store it. I can set that on the corner. I can set that across the top. However, I find, you know, just in the corner, so I can still stack plenty of wood, and I can just put this on the side, let it get warm, and then have ourselves a little hot chocolate, I think. So, but it's nice. I got my feet sitting here. I can already feel my feet warming up. So it's a cool little thing. And my idea with this is, this box, if I'm headed out to a camp somewhere, there's no reason I can't stack this box full of stuff. You know what I'm saying? I could put, what would I want to put in there? I mean, I can put all kinds of stuff in here. I can put all my cook kit in here. I could put, trying to think. I mean, anything I can put in here. So as much stuff as I could fit in here. I gotta fix this to a pack frame of sorts or whatever. So then it's doubling as like a container, as a means of conveyance. You know what I mean? Kinda. As well as when we get to camp, we break it down. We got the stove there. We got a nice place to cook. We got a place that's contained for our, you know, for a fire pit. And I'm gonna see if this leaves a ground scar underneath. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna see if it leaves a scar on the earth. If it does leave a scar, rather than even messing around with making legs, all I need to do is set it down on a couple pieces of wood. You know, if those pieces of wood burn, then I'll put some new pieces under there. So, you know, maybe you're in some areas where you're not supposed to have open fires and stuff like that. You know, a little fire pit like this makes it so you can still enjoy camp with the fire, which I don't know how you can camp without a fire, frankly. So, okay guys, before we go here, actually, so it's been going. I got a good blaze here. Let me actually grab my chair back. I just put my chair back. But, the old stump chair. Okay, so let's talk about kind of the performance of this little fire pit. So this definitely puts off some heat. If you had this in front of your tent, you know, it'd probably give you the heat that you need to definitely warm it up in your tent. Just sitting around it, I could probably get a bigger blaze going. But this size fire, it's not like sitting around a fire pit at home. You know what I'm saying? It definitely, like I said, it puts off heat. If I had a tarp behind me and this heat was going back into the tent, I believe it would put off a pretty good amount. So we're definitely gonna have to do a test on that. My water is steaming there. If I wanted to boil it, fairly certain I could easily boil this. Actually, I can hear it starting to boil now. So the water's hot. It's hot enough for some instant coffee or some hot chocolate like we're going to have. Let's see if I can actually move this over the fire now that I have some smaller sticks in there. So we can probably get this boiling. I'm sure I can run my mouth long enough that we can see this boil. I don't have much of an issue usually filling time with words. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, I brought my little lantern out here. I got this Coleman, this is an LED lantern. So I just picked that thing up, I don't know, a long time ago. I've got a Coleman, that's the next little project, is I finally picked up one of those Coleman multi-fuel lanterns, which I've always wanted to really get into those. I just never, you know, really wanted to get into it, but my entrance has been struck, and so now I'm gonna get one of those old style pump up, and they run on unleaded, or you can run them on that, camp fuel, that white gas. And look at that, we're boiling already. See, I told you guys I could fill time with, and just blabber on my mouth. But yeah, I'm gonna be messing around with one of those Coleman multi-fuel lanterns here. And as far as welding this, I thought of one thing I would like to do. I think is I want to add actually legs to the lid. Just one little leg to give that some support. And look at that. We're boiling. So, okay. Look, okay, so there's proof. Fire will boil water. So, but a support leg here, so that I could actually set stuff like coffee over here off to the side, and I have kind of a nice little workstation. As far as adding any legs, that's what I think I'm going to do here. So then, there's still a little warmth from there, but it's also just kind of a nice little workstation to make also some use out of that lid rather than just sitting there in the way. You know what I mean? You could put your mess kit up there, kind of organize, your cook stuff, your mess kit, your canteen, all that. Nice place to sit stuff, because organization when you're in camp is key, especially when you're like me and you like to, I like to use my little candle lantern as much as I can. And like I've talked about before, when you're camping, a candle lantern is key. But I'm not gonna, this is, I think, mostly supposed to be a welding video, but hey, this is just me, baby. I'm just talking. So anyways, I will add that. I'm gonna weld some sort of leg that will go under this lid and offer some support there, because obviously if I push this, it would just knock it over. But with the weight of the wood, it's keeping everything. So that's what I think we're gonna do for now. So next video, we will add a support there. In the meantime, we got hot water, and we got a packet of hot chocolate. So, that doesn't really leave us many options except to just drink some hot chocolate at this point. So there we go. We got that in there. Okay, so, and honestly, with my feet sitting right here, I can feel warmth in my little toes coming through this. And there we go. See what I'm talking about? That's why we need a support there, because now I've spilled a bunch of my hot chocolate. So definitely gonna need a support there for that lid. But yeah, so that's kind of that. And like I said, I do feel some heat. It is warm in my feet here. You can see, that it's melted the snow around there, so it's given that. I don't, like I said, I don't, well, hell, I can move it aside real quick and we can just find out if it's leaving a fire scar. Okay, let's get a look here and find out. Put that up there. Probably is leaving. Yeah, it does kind of leave a little bit of a scar. So I think to avoid that, I could probably put some sticks underneath. We'll do that as a test as well. But as far as just a little fire pit, this would be great to put in your camp and bring with you. I think it would supply enough heat where you could, you can put some little bigger wood in there. You also have that's a thick bed of coals that I'm going to be able to build up in there. And the coals are going to hold heat, as well. Unlike, those little fire boxes, which are great, and I love using them. But you're limited in just using little twigs. And like I said, we can pack this full of stuff, put it on a pack frame, and do that. Or also just play around in the backyard and drink hot chocolate and weld stuff. That's always fun too. So anyways, I think we're going to wrap it up there, guys. Thanks for watching. We're going to be getting out in the shop and doing more projects like this. So stay tuned. And again, thank you guys so much. for watching. Leave comments, questions, all that kind of stuff. I keep pretty good track of them. So thank you, everyone. Have a great day or night or whatever.